agriculture is the practice of cultivating the soil, producing crops, and raising livestock. Increased mechanization, the use of synthetic fertilizers and pesticides, along with monocultures, have transformed modern industrial agriculture, increasing yields tremendously. However, this improvement has not been without costs. In this transformation, agriculture has moved away from intercropping, the practice of growing more than one crop in a field at the same time. This has created numerous problems, which include pesticide resistance, health risks associated with pesticide use, soil deterioration and erosion, pollution, and decreased biodiversity. Concern for environmental and human health has created a shift away from industrial agriculture towards so-called alternative agriculture informed by ecology. Here we will examine ecological theory in order to answer the following question. If a farmer wants to grow two crop species, would it be better to grow them together on a single plot, intercropping, or to grow them each separately on different plots, monoculture? Well, this depends on the interactions between and within the two crop species. Two species are said to be in competition when their shared requirement for a resource leads to a reduction in growth, survivorship, and/or reproduction for at least some of the individuals. Interspecific competition is competition with an individual from another species, while intraspecific competition is competition with members of the same species. According to Gauss's competitive exclusion principle, in order for species to coexist, species must differ, at least in some respect, in their use of resources. In other words, for species coexistence, between species competition, interspecific, must be weaker than within species competition, intraspecific. This can be shown in the graphical format.
Kx and Ky are the carrying capacities, or the maximum population size that can be sustained by a given area for species X and Y. The star P1 denotes the coexistence of two species when interspecific competition is weak. The star P2 denotes the extinction or non-coexistence of two species when interspecific competition is stronger than intraspecific competition.
In the farmer's case, if interspecific competition were less than intraspecific competition for all resources between the two crop species, then it would be advantageous to grow them as intercrops. In this way, two crops growing together are similar to two species coexisting in a non-agricultural ecosystem. Furthermore, a farmer must consider the land equivalent ratio, which is a measure of the amount of land that would need to be planted in monoculture to give a yield comparable to a unit area of land planted as an intercrop. Consider the following example. A monoculture produces 50 kilograms of beans per hectare. Another monoculture produces 100 kilograms of corn per hectare, and a polyculture produces 90 kilograms of corn and 40 kilograms of beans per hectare. LER can be calculated in a similar way to species coexistence. If Kx and Ky are the yields per unit area when crops are grown in monoculture, theoretically equal to the carrying capacity, and Px and Py are the production of the two species in a polyculture, then it would take 0.8 hectares of bean monoculture to produce 40 kilograms of beans, plus 0.9 hectares of corn monoculture to produce 90 kilograms of corn, equal to the polyculture production. Thus, 1.7 hectares of monoculture is equal to the yield from 1 hectare of polyculture. So, for a farmer, if the LER is greater than 1, the polyculture overyields, and thus would be a good strategy. If the LER is less than 1, polyculture underyields, and the farmer would opt to use monocultures. A biological explanation for intercrop advantage could simply be the same as a biological explanation for species coexistence. Two species will overyield if their mutual interference is sufficiently weak. Since the biological rationale is identical to the rationale for the competitive exclusion principle, this has given rise to the term competitive production principle. The competitive production principle can help a farmer calculate if it is beneficial in theory to grow two crop species as intercrops. Intercropping can contribute to multiple agrisystem services by increased productivity and yield, better soil quality, and soil carbon sequestration. Intercropping can reduce risk of total crop failure by growing multiple species or crops, reduce fertilizer requirements, and reduce weeds by competition. It can also boost diversity by providing different habitats and food resources. The potential drawback to intercropping at a large scale is mechanization, as machines are made for uniform fields and cannot perform the same tasks on polyculture.
In conclusion, we examined how the theory of competitive exclusion can be used in agriculture. The competitive production principle and the land equivalent ratio can inform farmers if it is logical to plant two species as intercrops. This can reduce pesticide and fertilizer requirements and lead to a more sustainable agriculture.